Okay, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
It's Some Dumb Guy, and welcome to another episode of Some Dumb Buys. Last week's episode, we covered Kino Lorber's Spring into Summer sale. Second purchase, part 1, also part 3 of the total for the sale. This was the 4K edition. Right here is our results. Still got a nice, healthy box full of titles and Blu-ray that we're going to do part 2 and part 3, because we're going to split these in half, which I should really separate those and figure out where my stopping point is. So we need to get a little count here. Stand by. We've got these separated into 2 piles, still in the box. Let's see what we have in store, because I know. All right. I wonder if any of these will be not blind buys. The 4K collection, I think I had 1 and a partial that were not. Okay. All right, so what do we got here? Blind buy. Blu-ray. This is 1927 silent film, I believe. One of the most celebrated movies in cinema history. With 25 minutes of restored footage. What I understand that this film prior has never been released on home media in its complete form. The first time, Fritz Lang's vision, which has influenced contemporary films like Blade Runner and Star Wars, seems complete. Seems. I mean, it's not. Incorporating more than 25 minutes of newly discovered footage, this 2010 restoration is the definitive edition of Fritz Lang's science fiction masterpiece, backed by a new recording of Gottfried Huppert's 1927 score. This film's dazzling visual design and special effects are more striking than ever. After the integration of scenes and subplots long considered lost, endows with even greater tension and emotional resonance, as it dramatizes the conflict between wealthy uber-capitalists and rebellious subterranean laborers, orchestrated by a diabolical scientist capable of destroying them both. It is a movie probably everybody has heard of, but not necessarily everybody has seen. Metropolis. Yes, I bought this on reputation alone, and recent endeavors and appreciations in silent films made that a distinct possibility, and I'm glad Kino Lorber had it in their library, even gladder that they decided to put it on sale. Next up, Blu-ray blind buy. Those are all Blu-rays, I don't need to really say that anymore. This one from 1941, color, interesting for this time period, at 98 minutes. John Wayne, Betty Field, Harry Carey named on the cover here, directed by Henry Hathaway. This is a older, young-ish John Wayne in The Shepherd of the Hills. This is probably about, ironically, maybe about 9 or 10 years into John Wayne's acting career. So, you know, young and and oldish by today's standards, but he'd been already at it for a while. I think I noticed this one last sale, but it wasn't on sale, so I passed, and then this time it came down at a very good price, and I decided to pick it up. God, I'm still mind blown that this is a color film. I mean, I know they were doing them in the 40s, but it just wasn't all that common. Very cool. Yay! First non-blind buy. This is actually an upgrade from a DVD. 1985, colored 87 brisk minutes. A Carl Reiner film starring John Candy, Richard Crenna, Rip Torn, Karen Austin. We have the classic Summer Rental, which makes 2 John Candy comedies. Picked up. It's not good, I swear. Picked up in the sale. So yay on that. I think that's what now, is that 3 John Candy films I own? Uncle Buck, Summer Rental, which is an upgrade, and then I have The Great Outdoors. And of course he's got that bit role in JFK, right? So you gotta, I don't know if you count that or not, but it's not really a John Candy film. This one is a member of the Library of Congress, so apparently it's got some significance, I guess. Although Metropolis wasn't stated as such. How about that? Restored from the original negative. Well, I hope so. Kino Classics, blind buy, 1953, black and white, 91 minutes. I did end up reading the synopsis on this one, and it reminded me to some degree of Hell in the Pacific that I watched recently with people. Lee Marvin and Toshiro Mifune. Yeah, anyway, this one is pronounce this right. I know, I'm sorry. This is Anatahan. This is a World War II Japanese-centered film. I don't think it's a Japanese film because it's directed by Joseph von Sternberg. Not particularly Japanese. Inspired by actual events, explores the conflicting personalities of a dozen Japanese sailors stranded on a remote island in the Pacific during the waning days of World War II. That's all I'm going to say about that, because we don't want to get too heavily involved, nor do we want to get blurry. Okay. I think I passed on this one in the last sale. Happens, right? You go through the sale, you throw everything you like in the cart, you realize you've got either 100 or more titles or $1,500 worth or so of movies and television or whatever, and you're like, and you go, nope. Go through whittling it like a fine piece of wood, dumping everything you're rejecting into your wish list, hoping it'll come around next time. This was one of those, and it came around next time. Almost didn't make the cut. The cast, I think, ultimately is what did it for me. This is a 1933 black and white at 76-minute film. Makes me wonder if it's a silent or not. I don't know. But this one stars Gary Grant, Gary Cooper, and W.C. Fields. Anybody else here? Charlotte Henry, I don't know who that is. A lot of names I don't recognize. It's a big cast, and it would have to be, I guess. This is the original live-action classic, they're calling this, Alice in Wonderland. Very interesting. I did not know that there was an adaptation that goes back this far, particularly black and white to potentially silent. I always was of the impression that the Rodent House animated film was the original rendition, so really intrigued to see what was done with this in 1933. Not a live-action adaptation of a previous film, but just a live-action adaptation of the novel itself. So that one is striking. Come back here. All right. Blind Buy, 1951, black and white, 103 minutes. Building on something of a, I guess you'd call it, semi-fledgling collection for my library here. Starring Kirk Douglas, that's the collection. Ellen Parker, William Bendix. Produced and directed by William Wyler. This is a detective story. Kirk Douglas has become one of those actors where, I'll blind buy up his titles. Just because Kirk Douglas. Michael Douglas, great too. I'm probably like 90% in the Michael Douglas camp. I don't know why I'm more pro Kirk than I am pro Michael, but I have to scrutinize that a little bit more now that I think about it, because I don't know that I've ever seen a Michael Douglas film or performance that I didn't like. Food for thought. Ooh, and how about that for themes? 1975, colored 92-minute blind buy, starring Kirk Douglas and Bruce Dern this time around. Bo Hopkins, James Stacey, Alfonso Arau. New HD master from a 4K scan. Why did they do a 4K scan if they're not going to put it on a 4K disc? It's one of those bizarre studio/boutique issues that most of us don't seem to understand. So if you're going to do a 4K scan, you might as well present it on a 4K disc, because especially if it's Kino Lorber, you're going to include a Blu-ray with it anyway, so why not just go that extra bit? You're going to charge that much more for it. You're probably going to profit more off it, because at least in the collector market, 95% of us, I don't include myself in that 95%, but are going to be more prone to zero in on that 4K. There's plenty of people that see any new film or restoration come out and there's a Blu-ray, and they're like, where's the 4K? Why did you do 4K? Whether it's a 4K scan or not. New releases that come out only on Blu-ray baffle people, myself included in that. But at the same time, I get it. 4K is the lowest selling format of physical media in existence. DVD still dominates for reasons, price, who the hell knows. But yeah, Western here. I like Kirk Douglas Westerns. I like Kirk Douglas, but I like his Westerns. So it's one of those things where, you try to make sense of it from either a manufacturing perspective, a collector perspective, or just a business perspective. You know, you still get brand new films that are released only on DVD, no 4K or Blu-ray, and you're just like, oh, okay, I get it. DVD's still king of the castle, but you're not helping people transition over at all. And you will possibly lose sales that way. I don't know. I don't know how stubborn people are. I mean, I've got my own stubborn issues. You know, I'm not buying steelbooks anymore at all. I don't care what it is. So you put a steelbook exclusive release out of a 4K title that I would want, I absolutely will pass on buying it, strictly because of that steelbook. I don't want to contribute to that. I don't want to encourage it. I understand there's a collector's market for steelbooks. There's a lot of people out there that love them. But you put out a film on 4K without a steelbook, people that want to own it are still going to buy it. Nobody's going to reject a 4K release because it's not a steelbook. You put out a 4K steelbook exclusive, you will sell less. You absolutely will sell less. There are people that will say no and not buy that film strictly because of that. So you either do the exclusive, you either do both and give them an option, or go with the standard if you want to maximize your sales. And I think that is probably a great inhibitor to the expansion of the 4K market share, is the 4K steelbook exclusive. Rant over. Blu-ray, Blind Buy, 1952 color at 104 minutes, starring Gregory Peck and Ann Blythe. Gregory Peck is also one that I will dive into with Blind Buys. It's also starring Anthony Quinn, directed by Raoul Walsh. This looks colorful. This is The World in His Arms. I had a little trouble with that one backwards. Yeah, it's has a vibrancy to these still images, which is cool. I don't know what kind of restoration it got. It doesn't seem to mention anything that I can see. It's set in 1850. Peck stars as a swaggering sea captain. Arr! Oh, I didn't say pirate. It said sea captain. I like Gregory Peck. I'm in. And then it's just, this is the blind buy thing, right? I'm not buying for the stories 90% of the time. I'm not. Most things I don't even read a synopsis on it. It's amazing how my blind buy purchases are so actor or director driven at this point. And you can't say the same thing nowadays, right? Like, I mean, very few people seek out movies based on current actors or directors. It's all strictly what the movie is, what the movie's about that sells it, how well it's made, how well it's written. But rewind a bit, everything I'm doing, 99% actor or director driven. It's really weird. This one is 1940 black and white at 110 minutes. In this case, the draw is Claudette Colbert. Also starring Ray Milland, directed by Mitchell Leeson. Let's see any other recognizable names there. We have Arise, My Love. Claudette Colbert is lovely. Let's see if we can get some focus on these still images. I got two very lovely pictures of this beautiful woman. Has a very unique look to her. It works very well for me. Thank you, A Night to Remember by Frank Capra, for introducing me to this lovely lady and catching my attention. Okay, this one is a kind of a double whammy, I guess. This one's more director-driven than actor-driven. This is an actress, in this case, that I've seen in one film in a relatively small role, but struck me right away as probably one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, and learned after the fact that she pretty much has that reputation across the board. But 1935, black and white, 125 minutes. Wow, that's lengthy for the year, isn't it? Historical epics. I got this one because it's a Cecil B. DeMille film, and it's one of those directors where it's like, give me it all. Give me it all. I will collect that full filmography. Give it, give it, give it. So, starring Loretta Young, which is this actress I'm referencing, and Henry Wilcoxon. Wilcoxon. That's unfortunate. Definitely a historical epic. This is The Crusades. I'm guessing that's Mr. Wilcoxon. Will piss on. I will pee on. Yeah, it looks like literally the Crusades, medieval stuff. I like medieval stuff. This one's actually, I don't think I've ever seen this on a Kino Lorber title before, but it's got a security sticker slapped on it. Okay, this is 50% a blind buy because it's a 2-pack double feature. It's part 1 and 2. I saw the first part on network TV or cable, probably back in the late 80s. Let's see, first film was 1986, colored 109 minutes. Second film was 1991, colored 108 minutes. Part 1 starring Brian Brown and Brian Dennehy. Part 2, same. It's good to know. I probably saw this hot off the heels of Cocktail, which was probably its original draw for me when I countered it on TV. I sat and watched it. This is a 2-pack of FX and FX2. And so I've seen part 1. I have never seen the sequel. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about its quality. I don't even wholly remember too many details about the original FX. Just a very vaguest of outline, and that's okay. I discovered this one. This one got added to my sale list. I think I discovered it on the sale. I don't think I actually had it floating on my watch list at any point. But I remember liking the first film, so I decided to, you know what, doing it. All right, last entry. Slipcover. I haven't got a whole lot of slipcovers this round. Bad face. Big cast. Blind buy. Western. 1958 color. 166 minutes. Epic. Very cool. Gregory Peck and Gene Simmons. Carol Baker. Charlton Heston. Burl Ives. A William Wyler's production. Did I come across that name once already? William Wyler's? I did. Detective Story was directed by him. All right. All right, nice slipcover, nice color presentation. We have The Big Country. This was a Gregory Peck choice for me. I can thank him for this purchase. I still say if they made a Superman movie, like a legitimate theatrical Superman movie in the 50s, Gregory Peck would have been a solid choice for Superman Clark Kent. The man can pull off, I think, both roles with perfection. Yeah. I can just see him going either way with that, the Clark Kent or Superman or both role. Oh, a little blurry again. It keeps happening. No focus. Anyway, that's it. That was 12 titles, I believe. And we're already long on the tooth, so a little editing involved. What do you think of these? Do you own any of these? Do you like any of these? Have any thoughts on any of these? You know, buy any of these? Did you buy anything in the spring and the summer sale from Kino? Use the word box. Thank you for joining me. Stay tuned for part 3. This will probably be recorded separately because my memory on my phone is running a little bit slim. I don't think it can handle a third part before it poops out. So I will see you later. Next part. Thank you for joining me once again, and bye-bye all. Bye-bye.
Alan.